Why are we suckers for nostalgia? I'm a sucker for nostalgia, but more like sounds and images and smells. I just smelled some pizza and it brought me back to when I worked at a restaurant. I started working there when I was 13 and worked there for 5 years. So it was a big part of my life. It was a family owned restaurant. My brothers and most of my family worked there. A lot of good times there. A lot of good times. My boss was a good person. I think I learned a lot of good work ethic there. Listened to a lot of songs. A lot of times we would just joke with each other all day. Or like, hey, listen to this song, listen to that song, while we sat there and washed dishes. I mainly washed dishes for 5 years and was pretty good at it. But my boss would give us free pizzas or free pasta every night. So most of the time I got a half cheese, half pepperoni. Delicious. These people came from Italy. They were real Italians. So it was really Italian food. That's where I got some of my first Italian food, like chicken picante, chicken marsala, all of that stuff. I could keep going on. Chicken and broccoli Alfredo, stuff like that. Stuff that I still make to this day. Stuff that is delicious. But I'm a real sucker for, like something else, which I don't know why. It's 90s New York. It's like 90s cities, or just cities in general from the 90s or the 80s maybe, like the box taxis, like the metal taxis. I love the way cars used to look. I think it was a simpler time. And I think sometimes these smells and these sounds and whatever bring me back to a simpler time in my life. And I'm a sucker for it. I don't really care to have, old products and toys. I just wish I could have been there. And sometimes it happens to stuff like I never could have experienced. And it doesn't, like I was a kid in the 90s, so it makes sense why maybe I have some type of nostalgic for that. But other times, like the 50s and the 30s and the gangsters from the 30s and the Rat Pack from the 50s and Jesse James, and I have nostalgic for that sometimes. I'll watch a movie like that and I'm like, yeah, I could see me doing something like that back then. And I don't know why. I think a lot of people are like that. I don't wish I grew up in a different generation, but I wish I could have seen it. Like, I'll see something on a movie about, like hipsters in London in the 60s from the Austin Powers and be like, dang, that was probably a crazy time, the 80s. But certain sounds and certain images and stuff will bring me back to, like, moments in my life, certain songs, and I'm a sucker for that. I could sit there and watch like I love movies about the 90s. I could sit there and watch like a cityscape with some music playing and fall asleep. I've done that a few times, but no, I just wanted to get on here and ramble about like that feeling you get when you like a certain sound or smell, image brings you back to a certain time. I wish I could capture it in like a video. I want to actually make a video that's like shot in 90s style, like the real world, or like even like off of VHS, like get a VHS recorder and, make a project out of that, because I think it would resonate with a lot of people, and if not, it would still resonate with me, because like I said, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. I wish I could have seen it. I wish I could have seen stuff like Studio 54. And I think that was in like the 80s. I don't know. But certain time periods, I wish I could have seen it. I was just talking about Troy, and the ship that sailed 1,000 faces. Like, to be in the live in the time of Merlin. I mean, what was happening back then? The mid ages, the Middle Ages. I think now we have a nostalgic for some, like stuff that hasn't even happened yet. think that's why you get movies like The Purge and like, you know, futuristic, like Walking Dead type stuff where like people love to prepare for that type of stuff. People love to, like, you know, believe that that's gonna happen. I don't know. I would much rather look back to the past and like it doesn't matter what it is. It could be the roaring 20s. You know, like Howard Hughes and stuff. Like I love that type of shit. I love it. I think, like, I mean, it could be pirates. It could be pirates. You know, Pirates of the Caribbean. When I first watched that, I'm like, I want to be a pirate. You know, like, that's the type of nostalgia I have for stuff. I have, like, like, I wish I could have been there. You know, I'm like, I could see myself being a gangster from the 30s. I probably would have been if I was in the Dust Bowl in the 30s. Yeah, I would have been a gangster. I'm sorry, but I would have. If I would have been, you know, around the time of pirates, I probably would have been a pirate. You know, it's funny. I grew up this way. You know, one of my favorite artists is Tupac. He's from the 90s. And I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But I feel like, well, I think I brought him up because I played some songs for my son and had him listen to some of his songs and I was thinking why I did that. Like, I wonder if he's going to remember this. Like, hey, that one time we were mowing the lawn. It's like that one time my dad randomly played some Tupac songs to me, but he needs to hear them. He needs to hear them, and maybe he'll hear a Tupac song and think back to that time I showed him that song, and because that's what I do. I'll hear a Tupac song and it'll bring me back to time, like certain times. I'll hear certain songs that will remind me of my fiance. I'll hear certain songs that will remind me of my dad. Like, that's kind of nostalgia that I'm a sucker for. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. And I just wanted to come on here and ramble about it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm not going to talk about politics and all that stuff. I'm just going to talk about my life and what I want to talk about. You know, and I started this to actually, so my kids would have something to look back on and, like, as like a diary, a log, you know, and know a little bit about me. But then it turned into trying to do everything and anything and everything and not thinking too much about that. So I want to get back to thinking about that and thinking about them watching these in the future and how they're going to look back on it, or how they're going to enjoy it or not enjoy it or whatever. So it's not just for YouTube, it's for my family as well, but maybe it'll bring a little bit of nostalgia to them. Maybe my son will remember that this day and be like, oh yeah, he was right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm running out of stuff to say, so I'm going to end it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment below if you could relate. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. And take care and stay safe.